So today I'm going to show you which modification I have made to the RTI Prophet II. 5 mods I have already done, and I can tell you what I've done and how it's been holding up. 2 modifications I'm gonna do now, and I can give you feedback on that one. Let's go to all the 5 and then a further explanation about the modifications. Alright, so here's modification 1. Polish the pellet probe holder. Then modification 2. Changing the valve for the 3rd generation and also polish the valve, this end and this end. Then add some tape to the inside. Then I have filed down the sharp edges of the barrel and pellet probe, and that's a new ring. And also the pellet probe pusher I have slightly adjusted. And here is a modification I'm working right now on, and that's the hole for the valve in here, the valve hole, and I'm gonna put there some O-rings in. And then this modification is on the connecting rod and the rod where the air is going through. I've made some flat sides on so I can use it with a wrench. Alright, now I have shown you the mods I have made. Now let's dive into them deeper and further. So I start with the first things I noticed on the gun. The first thing I did was polishing the pellet probe of the pellet pusher block, because I noticed after shooting the gun a couple of times there wasn't much lube in here. So then I noticed here some warning places over here. There are worn places in here. There you cannot see on the camera. So the inside wears a little bit. So I polished this one, and now you see it's scratching also again, and that's due to the opening here, and sand and moisture will fall into here, and this is pushing all the way to the left and to the right, or to the front and to the back. Then I 3D printed this cap like so, and now it's closed. It also prevents from the blowback it has, because the valve seat in here is open. If you have the Prophet III, this valve is closed. So in this gun it's open, so there will be air blown back into here, into this compartment, and it blows outside of this hole. So now I also have to have a plug for this one, because also here is moisture and sand gathering. This one is from TPU, so it's a little bit flexible, and then if you want to change caliber, it's also possible. So you can. Then I noticed that on the back side of this cover plate, where this cocking mechanism works, like so, and when you cock the gun, this pulls outside, this goes up, and then it scratches here the inside. So what I've did, I just get around some electrical isolation tape, and then I tape this so it doesn't scratch the inside of this marker. So you can remove this one and then see on your own that you can see here the scratches on. So there's another thing I did to fix that problem, and that is grind this one all the way out. Here you see the original, and the original is nice 45 degrees. And what I've did, I grind this all the way out. So when the pellet pushes in here, it pushes onto this bolt with this. I drilled a hole in here and I made a little screw in here so I can adjust it, and this is quite good. So now the pellet pusher is pushing straight onto it, and it's not pushing, and it's not going like push itself away. So now it's straight pushing. You can see my other video, it's explaining this very more in depth how this works, and then I can live cock it, and then that's how you can see how it cocks. So that is what I did. And now you see I have this black thing made here, because normally it comes with this O-ring, and this O-ring is metal and it's very hard, and what it does is it's breaking this side of the gun. So you can see here lots of wear, and because I have made this different than normally, because the pellet pusher comes all the way to the top here and then goes down, and then it stays on this side, and when I shoot the gun it bounces back a little bit, and then you can see here it's grinding the aluminum away, and I didn't like that. So I noticed when I opened the gun to see how it functions, that I noticed that it was shooting it right off. So I made this little piece here. So this is just some nylon I've made, and it's square here, and that square size is just down there to push it down. Here's the design drawing of the new how do you say, the pellet probe pusher, or the cocking mechanism pusher, and then the underside is a little bit straight, and then this side is also straight, and then here you have 45 degrees and then straight, and here also 45 degrees, and then it goes all the way down. This is more like so, and then the hole is a little bit on this side. So you have more flesh here on this side for the aluminum, and here you have the round corner here and here. So here's your your aluminum block, and then this side has to be 45 degrees because it goes onto the top side of where the thing is moving, and also here 45 degrees so that it's touching here, and then it pushes downwards. And then if you leave the O-ring in here, then the O-ring will sit on this side and a little bit space on here, and then when you shoot, this will bounce onto this side on here, and then you see here it's wearing a round corner here, and it wears the aluminum on this side, wears a little bit more, and then in the end you need a new block, or if you are keen enough, then you can install something different. I also thought of machining all the way out for like 3 millimeters, and then you can bolt in here a new piece of steel or other material. You can bolt in here because there is a little bit flesh on there you can use, and then you have to bolt the screws with a little angle. You have to bolt in the screws, but that's not what I reckon. So if you can prevent this from wearing even more, because normally the bolt is turning around here, and then you can see with all the guns in the videos when they open up, this is all rounded, and in the end there's nothing, not a material left anymore. So if you do it like this, like I did, then it's bouncing on this wall and then goes straight down like this. So if you want this design, I've made this piece thicker than the original, so you also have to remove a little bit from the bolt. What I did, I made a little chamfer on here. Here I have some washers you can use as well. Then this bolt will go in, fit nice. Then you have to saw this one off and then make sure it will fit into the block. And then make sure it will fit in here. So you have to file or Dremel a little bit off, and that it will fit in here. You also have to Dremel this away, but that was easy. That is easy. You can buy these tools. And then use this grinding stone, or that one, or that, or use a grinding stone, and then in the end you will have this. You will finish with this. So if I wrap this one around, it's like this. And if I wrap this one around, it's more like this. So now you can see I removed this corner here and go straight, and that's still over there. And then drill the hole to put in a new bolt so that it was more of an angle that it pushes, and this works great. And I can adjust the angle here for more. I can adjust the angle here for more outside or inside. So that's amazing. So maybe RTI can make this as well. Just copy this, I don't mind. Alright, so as you can see now, when I push it down, it goes all the way to the top and then down. And if you push it like this, when you shoot the gun, it goes a little bit backwards with this O-ring. Because this O-ring, when this O-ring sits in place, it has a little bit tiny wibble. Now it's not. But normally when you shoot, this has a little bit play, and that's how this will break in. So I removed this hard ring and made some plastic. And as you can see, when it's all the way down, now the bolt isn't touching the aluminum, because this is all the way down and holding it in place. So the nylon it's much softer than the aluminum, so this doesn't wear out anymore. So that was my modification too. And as you can see here, it's pushing very straight onto the bolt, and it's not, when normally if you push it, it will push the bracket outside onto the side of your inside of your cover plate. So now it doesn't anymore, and this works quite good like this. I also removed a little bit down here, and this was an amazing update. So and then came my brother around, and he was curious about my barrel, because I saw a video of Amazing Airguns. This guy shoots a Huben and also an Epic Impact, and he said you have to push a pellet or a slug through your barrel, and then you can find some hard stuff or hard pieces in your barrel, and especially the FX liners, because they have this technique, they roll in the lengths and the grooves from the outside, and if you roll it from the outside you can have imperfections, because who knows if the thickness of the wall is even. And my brother noticed that when he pushes a pellet through with wood, and then he noticed that there were some spots that the pellet would stick in there, and then he polished it, the barrel, from the inside he polished it, and then the slug or the pellet would go without any resistance or with some obstructions into the barrel. It just went smooth and flowy to the barrel. So I thought, I want that too with my barrel, and I can tell you that this barrel is from the start it's very good. It doesn't have any obstructions or whatsoever. Only in the beginning and in the end there's an obstruction, but all the way down here it's nice and smooth and flowy. So the bullet can accelerate very easy, and it's amazing. So I'm very lucky with this barrel, this RPB barrel from RTI, from Lothar Walther. It's amazing. But when I push the pellet in, there are some sharp edges. Yeah, I still left the sharp edges on the outside, but on the inside where the pellet goes in, it's very sharp. And then I noticed that when I push the pellet in, it's scraping the lead out of the slug or the pellet. And I thought, yeah, that is inaccuracy, because if you remove some lead from your pellet or your slug, it removes the accuracy of this projectile. So what I did is made the chamfer inside. Alright, so here you can see the sharp edges on the outside. It's still very sharp, and I hope you can see it right now. Yeah, I made some chamfer right about here. You can see the chamfer and there and there, and here also I made the chamfer, and there, all the way where the pellets go in, I made the chamfer. And also on this side you can see there's chamfer. So if I now push in a pellet or a slug, it is very nice, and it isn't scraping any lead. Also what I have done is I've polished this side as well. I made a little chamfer on it, and I polished the inside till it's a little bit bigger. I used a little bit sandpaper, and then Scott and Bright, and then with some polish sandpaper, and then I made it very smooth, so that the pellets or the slugs would go in, fit in nice and easy all the way in here. So the cocking would be even smoother and better. So you can do that also if you have a lot. As you can see here, the pellet is going in very smooth, and now I have to push hard, because and the rest, the gun will do the rest of the air blowing in. So the first side, it's very smooth going in, and then the first bit, it's a little bit harder. So now I can show you, when I push in the rod, the first bit to get the grooves in it, in the bullet, like this, and now I can push it all the way in, and it goes nice. And you can see nice and slow. Only on the end you see the obstruction because there is some light choke, and there is the bullet. Hasn't any. It does have the slidings of the grooves of the barrel, but you don't see any scrapings that the barrel scraped it off. So that also was a very fine-tuning modification of the barrel, so that the cocking mechanism would be much smoother than it was before. If you buy a PCP gun for 3,000 euros or maybe more, then this will be all sorted out. But I bought this for 1,800 euros, and it's still an amazing gun, but it's not perfect. So there's still work to do on this gun, and I've shown you now what I've done here to remove the sharp edges. And I bought this to do it. I did it all by hand. Was just doing this all the time, little movements here and here and here and here, and the other side, and it kept me going for hours and hours to get it nice and smooth. But now it's good, now it's done, so that's amazing. Now I've shown you how I did that. Also, my Prophet filled a valve, and you can see the housing of this valve is aluminum, and the spring from this valve was steel, and then after a couple of shots, this aluminum would wear out, and all this grease with aluminum would go between the rubber, would go between here, and then your gun would start leaking from out of here. Here we have the new valve, stainless steel. This isn't stainless steel, this is a little bit magnetic, and you can see here that is a little chamfer, and the hole of this valve is a little bit smaller than this hole. This hole is 1 time bigger than that hole. And also this diameter is bigger than this diameter. This corner is sharp, but it can also be a little chamfer on here, so that it has more contact with the aluminum. Valve on the seat, there are some black anodizing spots, and they are still in place, so that's quite good. I made these grooves in here, and I can do it with an 11mm wrench. So the outside diameter is 13, and I made this one 11, so I had to remove 1mm on both sides. So here I have the block of my RTI Prophet II, and when I'm shooting it, there's air leaving this place here. I've noticed there is a little groove in here. So as you can see, there's a little groove there, down here, and this hole is 9mm deep, and it also has some thread here, so you can thread something in here. So I thought, if I have this O-ring in here, so this O-ring is 7mm. Yeah, it's 7, so that one will fit. So when I'm gonna try to push it in, and hopefully it will stay in there. Just a little bit of loop on it. Super loop. So now it's above the hole. And then I can push it with my rod. I can push it in. When pushing the valve in, alright, so that it has a little bit resistance, but not that much. So this is sealing, and it has just bare touching. So it would be nice if that one would stay in, because it's getting pushed further and further along. See, this one is much bigger, thicker, and if I push this one in, then the valve it's much tighter fit. So now it's barely touching, and I can try to fit this one in and then see how this one will hold up. And I have to push it in, because this one is 7 millimeters and the hole is 5. So I have to work this one in. So the downside is the valve is much harder to move around this point. It's almost in. I can push it flat with this rod. So now it's in. So here I have now 2 O-rings in it, the little one and the bigger one. And it's a little bit more heavy, the stroke, but I think it's alright, because there's also a spring. There comes a spring in here, and that one is pushing away. So I'm gonna do this modification right now on the fly, so I cannot explain to you if it's better or worse, or the blowback is completely removed. I'm not sure. I also gonna remove this, and I also have an idea, because this rod is going into here. You screw it onto the block on the valve, and I've noticed that if I turn here 1 millimeter away, then the valve can go 1 millimeter further open. And then I thought, yeah, would that be okay? Because if you look at the valve now, down here, when it's completely open, there will be enough air coming out. And if I all the way back, so normally the valve will sit here, and as you can see now, there's a little bit, the valve is a little bit not completely open, so there can be more air go in. So if I pull it a little bit away, like this, now I pulled it a little bit. Now you can see the valve is much more open. So if you want more power, you can, what you also can do, but I'm not sure if that's gonna work, that you can remove a little bit of this rod, and then the valve can go open further. I also thought to remove a little bit from this side and from that side, but that's not possible because it's already thin. and there's a lot of forces going on with this valve, because it's opening this piece a little bit from that to that side, so it's opening very short. And don't get me wrong, I think that's so fine, that's okay. It's opening 4 millimeters right now. I think a little bit more. From the center to the center, I think it's 4.5 millimeter. So the valve is opening 4.5 millimeter. That can be more if you want. You can turn this rod not all the way back in, but leave a little bit more space from here. Then you have a problem that the side covers won't fit here on this side. But for testing it's possible, because there's still room for the O-ring for sealing this here, and then you can see if that will do any good. So then go all the way as tight and then leave it 3 turns out. That's also 3 millimeters, that the valve can open more. And if that makes any difference, then you know if it's good to open the valve even more. But that is also a but, because if you open the valve more like this, then when the valve is traveling more, it can speed up more, so the valve is creating more mass, because when the speed is higher, then the impact is also higher on the valve seat. So the impact on the valve seat will be higher as well. So I don't want to experiment with this setup of removing material for more power, because the gun has already tons of power, and if I'm gonna find the edge of the most power, then the things will break, and I don't want to break it. So that's good. If I had the Prophet III with the valve inside here, yeah, it wouldn't be much a deal to test, because you can easily remove. But now I have to pay this for 500 euros, a new block, so that's a lot of money, and I don't want to do it, because there's a lot of power in here already, and I reckon not to spend that $500 unless RTI gives me some stuff to experiment with. Then I would say definitely yes, to improve the product or for more power. Yeah, that would be awesome if I could do that, to have some parts here laying around, so I can just adjust and tickle and figgle it around, and then make a nice video for you guys. Yeah, alright, I think that's about it. Those are the modifications I did and I'm planning to do and not to do. And I hope you like this video. If you like, please like, and if you want to see more, subscribe. And then now I'm gonna start the time lapse for installing the gun back together. So when installing the trigger, you have to put it on safety, then turn it all the way in, almost in. Then the spring has to go like this. And then you see here, it's moving, but it's not triggering yet, so you can still twist it a little bit. Still a little bit. A little bit. And now it's pulling the lever here. So you have to turn it backwards a little bit. Still a little bit backwards. So now this is the maximum you can go when on safety. And then make sure this spring is sitting good, like so. Right, so increase here. Right, so it's going too far. See it's here. Now it's sliding. Now you can see it's all the way too far. So you have to turn it a little bit. So now I have to put in this bolt and then see how the cocking action is, because maybe we have to loosen it a little bit more. But first you have to put in this bolt. So as you can see, the cocking needs a little bit further, so we have to turn it one in. Alright, now let's see how it behaves. Yeah, this is good. So I hope you can see. Yeah, I think you can see that this corner is going all the way down to the aluminum. All the way down here. So that's perfect. So this won't wear out the aluminum. So that's yeah, that's why I did it. To save the block. Because I think all the RTIs have this. And then we need to fix this somehow. So I have tightened the spring on one side a little bit. So this one is more loose. Just a little bit. Squeezing a little bit like this. A little bit is just enough. And then it's more a tight fit. And this one will stay on much longer. Right, okay, Alain, please. Let's set it loose and just tighten it a little more. So you can just feel the wheel here, and here, and also here. So now I'm gonna explain you how did I align the gun with the scope, because here on this side and on this side there is a little bit space, and also on this side and on this side. So I spent a half a day to align the scope with the barrel. The manual or on the website or on YouTube videos where other guys to use shims between here and between there. So I mounted the scope rail and then I looked her above, just as a straight line above. And then I took two lineals and then I hold it onto the barrel and onto the Picatinny rail. And then I saw where it met, and I also did it here. Also on here. Until it met. And then I could see the angle between the back side of the Picatinny rail and on the front side. And that's and then I did like this and like this, and you can see if those are both the same or not. So and then in the end what I found out is that the barrel is on this side and this one is loose. So it's pretty straightforward. You can bolt the barrel onto this side. I turn this one all the way loose and that one all the way loose, and then turn this one and this one on, and this one also, and then you're done. It's easy. I found out how you do it, and now you can just follow these steps, and then you have aligned the Picatinny rail on your barrel. So don't shim this out as on this side as on this side, because your barrel will go that way or maybe that way, and your scope is going to be straight. So make sure you align the Picatinny rail on your barrel exactly, and then you're sure that you shoot on 10 meters and on 50 meters and even 100 meters straight, and you don't have to adjust your scope again. Alright, so that's about it. Now the gun is really back in business. So what I also noticed is, if you're gonna install this scope with these brackets, then that you have the bolts on the left side on here, and then I measured that the scope is more in the center of the gun if I mount it on this, like this. So now we are on the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you're still watching, then I think you did. And if you subscribe if you want more, and like if you like this video. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day.